I will call the meeting to order at 4:40. And
recording in progress.
Meeting is called to order, and I'll ask for a roll call of those present.
Jeff McKim.
Here.
Vanessa McCleary.
Here.
Malcolm Webb.
Present.
And I'll introduce myself as Jane Cooper Smith, staff.
Larry Allen, legal.
And I think that's it for the official.
Very good. Next on the agenda is the minutes. I'm seeing on our agenda that the June minutes will be presented at the August meeting. Unless there's objection, we'll move on to old business, which is the abatement compliance follow-up at the Woolery Mill. And I'll turn that back over to staff.
Thanks. Larry, jump in if you'd like, but so first of all, thanks, Randy. I see that you're here for this agenda item for our meeting. And this is on the agenda because even though both the EDC and Common Council found this abatement to be in compliance, we suspected, and Randy confirmed offline, that there was more investment than what is reported on the CF1. I can pull the CF1 up to share it. There was a question of why no jobs were reported as being created or retained in the actual column. And then again, just low total investment. So Randy, if you're up for it, you're usually so willing about these pop quizzes, so I appreciate that. I think you had mentioned to me that you hadn't included the Cassidy Electric employees, even though they are technically in a facility that is part of this abatement project. So
no, we didn't. Like anything, I'd rather, I'd rather do something that I'd rather be upfront in regards to the aspect of, reporting less than more and have something that's not right. So, Cassidy Electric standpoint, I think when we started everything out, we were about 1.2 in payroll, and as of last year, we're at about 9 million. So.
Well, so this document's concerned with just the number. Well, I guess it is concerned with salaries, but the number of employees. Do you know how many employees would be registered at that location?
At that location, if we take One World and ours, that actually come there every day, we got 20 at One World and probably 10 at ours that come there, in and out throughout the day. We keep
Okay. I think, Larry, I don't know if you have additional questions about that. So that would equal a total of 30. And I think, Randy, just to probe on that a little bit, it's kind of has to do with how your payroll is processed. So it would be employees that, when you report on your taxes, if they're tied to that address, then you would be able to report them on next year's CF1. So okay. I think that, not to speak for the commissioners, but they definitely appreciate an attempt at, fidelity and accuracy with the numbers. And so appreciate your not wanting to over report for sure. But I think you could probably get more credit out of it. And then did anyone, Malcolm, do you have questions, or do you want to turn it over if anyone else has questions on that employment?
Sure. Any questions on this item on the agenda?
Not yet for me. I mean, this was pretty much what we suspected, that there were actual. I mean, since we see employees on the property, I assumed that the number was greater than 0. So, I mean, I understand One World was closed for a while, but they do seem to be doing business again.
Yeah, they've got some.
And then there was a follow-up. The second part of this has to do with the total investment. So the values before project are fine. And then actual value of proposed project was left blank, but I assume that is this total net values upon completion of project, which is 4.67.
Yeah, 4.679.
Yeah, and I think when we spoke, Randy, you had mentioned that there were a lot of infrastructure costs that were not included in that number, because I think you were trying to tie it very specifically to the Woolery building. You didn't include the water, sewer. Do you mind expanding on that, or?
The grand total of the water sewer project and literally we hadn't even really used except to extend to the other properties, was 2.8 million.
Yeah.
We put 2.8 million into Keg Road, Sunstone, and then all the water and sewer infrastructure that ends up feeding on through, and One World hooked into it. It fed Sunstone, and it also went on to the Element that just got built. There's 2.8 million there, and then I didn't include the 1.2 million in tenant finishes outs for the catering kitchen that One World did.
Okay. And I'll just say, maybe I'll go over the CF1 before you, or when it's filing time next year, and we can make sure that we get all of those numbers in the right field so that you're, getting credit for the work that you're doing. And then on that, I'll just turn it back over to Malcolm. If you or anyone has additional questions.
Thank you, Jane, for explaining that. Thank you, Randy, for answering those questions.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the next agenda item, Randy, do you have anything else that you wanted to add before we go on? Very good, thank you. All right, so new business is moving the recurring meeting dates. I just now responded to a survey that Jane had with regard to these meeting dates. I don't know, Vanessa, if you had a chance to see that. Jane, I don't know if you have, not to put you on the spot to try to compile something that was, one of which was submitted, I don't know, 20 minutes ago.
Technology makes me look smart. So I'll just say it's looking good for the third Tuesday at 4 p.m. So if that ends up working for Vanessa and Kate, then I think we'll be in good shape. But if I may, I'll back the frame up a little more. Kurt's responsibilities with the NCAA he has a recurring meeting now going forward with his new appointment. I forget the title, which is too bad because it's significant, but so he has a recurring conflict with this meeting time, and he was willing to step down from the EDC, but staff felt that he's got a lot of experience with this organization. He's great as a leader for us, and we sort of assumed you all felt the same way. So I think Kurt wanted us to meet today in order to have that conversation. So I went ahead and with his assistant figured out a few recurring meeting times that would work for his calendar, and then sent them to you all. So we still need to hear back again from Vanessa and Kate, but we can do that offline. And then I think this would be something we may vote on at the next meeting. Larry, I don't know if you have anything more to say about that.
Well, one, I was going to say, this is probably not inclusive of the next meeting. Next meeting would probably go ahead as planned on August 11th. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's what we're showing on the agenda.
Yeah. So I guess the discussion for the commissioners is, are you open to rescheduling the meeting? And then, that's the main question for today, I think.
So are you saying the third Tuesday at 4 is what you're looking at right now?
Yes, that seems to line up for the most calendars. If it works for you, and if it doesn't, we can go back to the drawing board. We sort of went for
that's fine. It
Okay.
works for me. Yes.
So the third Tuesday at 4, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Tuesday of the month.
Okay, and then just the only issue is that I have plan commission at 5:30 on the third Tuesday.
Oh,
So
yeah.
as long as we don't go more than an hour and a half, then we're fine.
Yeah.
Always good to have a reason that we have to end the meeting after now and then. I love that.
So Larry, is there any action needed today or,
No, I think it would be good to, let's go ahead and vote on it. There's going to be some back end stuff for staff, so we'll just have to renotice the remaining meetings for the year and make sure we keep track of that.
okay.
So
Okay.
I would entertain a motion to move the future meeting dates starting in September to the third Tuesday of the month at 4 o'clock. And, pending a final, our final commissioner's calendar.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Since we're meeting electronically, can we call the roll?
Absolutely. Vanessa McCleary,
Yes.
Jeff McKim,
Yes.
and Malcolm Webb.
Yes. So the ayes have it. The motion is passed. Now, do we have anything for the good of the order? All right.
I would add something, if I may, as staff, just to apologize to Vanessa. I'm sorry for the lack of communication about our meeting format today, if that was confusing. And I really appreciate your patience in getting to us. So thank you.
No problem.
I would add to that. Thank you for your heroics in getting to an office to make it happen. So we
No
appreciate
problem.
your persistence. On that note, if there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
No, all right. Any objection? No. All right, meeting adjourned.
Thank you all.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.